Well, hi guys, how you doing? Welcome to the Pro Bricky exclusive YouTube channel with Pro Bricky, where we're talking on the subject, forget it, forget me, I'm fed up with your kind. Unfortunately, in our time and in time past, but more so in our days, we're running with a generation of irresponsible and immoral people that are creeping into other people's lives and turning them upside down. They're chameleon. They know how to fool you. They want to use you. They want to penetrate into your life and take what they can, usually in the form of lust. They'll present themselves as kind, loving people, but they'll just dangle enough of themselves for you to get involved or intrigued, and then they'll start to disintegrate. Now, where and how do you get to the point where you're fed up? Well, a statistic today, guys, is that there are less people having sex now. There are less people in relationships now. The consequences of being in a relationship are too dire psychologically, emotionally, in some cases physically. If you catch a disease off somebody or something like this, there's major problems in the drug cultures with sex violence and abuse. The alphabet people or the LGB or whatever they're called, they've got all sorts of problems going on in their groups. And what we're finding is people, as you know, aren't lasting in marriages, they're not lasting in relationships, and it's due to a lack of the old-fashioned values. Now, they say that that's all part of the past and it's all behind us, but if you go into the mental health facilities where people are getting help with mental health and depression and all this other stuff, you'll find that it's usually some kind of relationship abuse problem, be it parental to child, child to parent, some kind of incestual problem, and then you've got the problems of sociological abuse of sex and people. You've got the drug culture where people get in relationships and they stay in relationships for the drugs and the sex, but it's really not helping anybody or healthy for anybody. And what happens is this undermines the true reason, the true meaning of what relationships are about. Another prevalent problem today, as you see in a lot of my videos, is surrogate parents making surrogate partners out of their children and then not being able to undo that, which is very destructive in relationships because the parent that's in the enmeshment with the child, otherwise known as covert emotional incest, which seems to be too much of a definition for most people, they come into your life and then they try and live a double life where they'll come to you for sex. They get all the emotional grooming and everything that they want from their children, but they can't have sex with their children if they've got enough morals. Some actually do, but most of them don't. And then they'll go outside the relationship they have with their children, find somebody they can have sex with, and then return back to the children and leave the other person sort of standing there. And they try and condition you to fit in with that kind of arrangement. And if you've got any brains, you won't. You just won't do that. Because what happens is you end up just being used. Because the backstop for these people is being on their own and satisfying their emotional needs and other needs with their children. And it works the same way for the children, and it's harmful for the children because they don't seem to be able to work out relationships either. So it's complex. This is what I'm saying. It's very, very complex. And when you're with one of these people and you end up bound to them, like you've attached to them, how do you find your way out? How do you get to the point where you're fed up with this kind? There's also a lot of people out there that are getting into relationships and taking people's money. They're using people for money. They're sizing up what they got, what they haven't got, and they're just taking people's money. They're not genuine about wanting to love someone. And it's just a mixed up, muddled up world that we live in. There's people committing suicide. They're being put into mental hospitals. There's more people on mental health medication now than ever before. Resilience, fortitude, character, and all these attributes that are of the old ways, which they learnt the hard way, have all been taken for granted for the most part. Not all, but for the most part. And the sheep culture, where everybody just follows the herd, is heading down a very dire and dangerous path. And it's a path where history has proven that civilizations can very easily tilt and fail if they don't come back to the values that actually uphold families, and families uphold societies, don't they? We've got now a whole, as it were, sociological makeup of single mothers. And I'll just type this in while you're on here: effects of single mother parenting on children. Let's just do it. I haven't rehearsed this, guys. Let's just do it and see what happens. And let's just see what is actually happening out there. With only one parent to support them, children from single parent families are prone to poverty. As a result, children may suffer from frustration, low self-esteem, loneliness, depression, and feelings of abandonment. Now, what amazes me is a lot of these parents will finance these people's drug problems as they get older. They also have difficulty connecting properly with others and end up developing violent and aggressive behaviour. What are the effects on children of single parents? And there's all this stuff, man. And look, it's not good. Finally, children from single parent homes are 50% more likely to experience poverty, even when adjusted for original differences in family income and poverty during childhood. Potential challenges: typically, single parents have to manage far more tasks, etc. 33% of children have lost one parent during their childhood throughout the centuries due to many factors, but more children are in jail that are of single parent families. And I'm not having a go at single parents. I mean, it's not deliberate. This kind of thing, usually for the most part, is not deliberate, and you wouldn't wish it on anyone. But it's something that's crept into society prolifically, and it really is, look, honestly, it's causing more damage than what we're aware of. How are these women ending up single? Why all of a sudden do we have all these single mothers? What's going on out there? Well, I'll tell you. There's a narrative that's feeding these women the grass is greener on the other side. Have a child to a man, take away his child and get all the money out of him that you can, and then ride the carousel out in the world where all the men are that are going to be better than him for you, and life will be just what you want. You've got your child, you've got the money, and you've got all the dick from strange men that you want. And women like all that, let's just admit it, but you don't have to go outside and find strange men for that to happen. You can spice things up in the bedroom without all this trouble, but we don't. We've become soft. The modern day feminist woke sort of narrative is for men to become more feminine while women are becoming more masculine, and it's just a mess, guys. And men are getting to the point where they're just saying, I'm fed up with your kind, because women are not committing to relationships properly and fairly. with any intention of longevity. I was married to a South African woman. She was stealing money out of the bank account. Her kids were all over the relationship. You wouldn't have picked any of this. When it come to really getting down to the nitty gritty and resolving stuff that was being caused by her children, she wasn't going to have a bar of it. She took the money and run. Not some short time after that, I don't think her kids knew, but she tried to come back. She got kicked to the curb. Then I met another woman and spoke to her children about, please don't interfere with the relationship. They couldn't help themselves. That woman, she tried, but she was never going to. See, they always have this. Don't date single mothers, guys. Don't date single mothers. Because it doesn't matter how good the woman is, the children are going to fuck your ass. They don't want somebody else around because it undermines the idea that they have of their father or their mother. And you just get fucked around by these children and the parents because they've got to shuffle themselves between both. And what the problem is these days is these aren't children anymore. We're talking about fucking adult children. These mothers turn these adult children into surrogate partners when their relationships end. And then they get lonely because their children don't usually have sex with them, so they've got to go outside and find sex. And then the children start freaking out because mummy might leave us to have to fend for ourselves as adults, and we can't do that. We need our mum. So it's mixed up, guys. You've got drugs to deal with, you've got imaginations to deal with, you've got hypergamy to deal with, you've got shit tests to deal with. What happened to the old-fashioned values, man? Why has it got to the point where men are going, fuck it and forget it, and forget about me, I'm fed up with your kind? It's because people don't want to resolve the issues. They'll come into your life, they know what the issues are, and they just don't want to resolve them. I've had one woman say she's scared of her fucking adult sons. Why would you be scared of your adult sons? Honestly. Because she's given them the power over her. And this is happening right across the world now. Because the more relationships break down, the more children get put into a surrogate role and the more parents lose control. You cannot control a child that's been put into an adult position because they're not meant to be put in an adult position. It's not healthy for that child. I've had several women now that have needed a bloke, kicked off and functioned really well and had their children fuck the relationship up and me just say, look, I'm fed up with your kind, I'm out. And they stand there and they go, well, I thought everything was all right. Yeah, everything's all right, but what about sorting your fucking children out? They won't do it because maternal love or whatever you want to call it, it's no excuse. Their immaturity, their fear of their children won't allow it. Now you say, why are you picking on? I'm not picking on the children. I'm telling you, heads up. When you get up to my age and you're dealing with all this shit, and women that have put their children in parent positions and this, that and the other, what else are you supposed to do? You're giving this woman the best that you've got, no interferences and shit like this, and they're playing the patsy with their children. Children's running the relationship from behind. You're going to tolerate that stuff? No, you got to turn around and go, fuck this, I've given it a fair go. I've given you every chance and opportunity to sort your shit out. And if you don't, so many different things can happen to you. You'll be left sitting there, standing there. They come over, they don't talk because they've talked all day to their fucking children. They've got nothing to say to you that's got anything. And some of you children, if anybody's a male adult listening to this, get the fuck out of your mother's arsehole and off the tit. Get off and give her a fucking go. I remember we were on a job 2 months ago up at Charlestown. This is dead set. You asked fucking Jamie. And we're on this job, a high-rise, mini high-rise, help getting it out of the ground on a stairway. And I could hear this fucking screaming and yelling from the house next door up on the hill. And I said, I screamed out, I've gone, what the fuck's going on up there? And the lady puts her head over the fence and goes, oh, it's okay. I thought, fuck this, I'm going up there. I went up to this house and knocked on the fucking door. Right? Because it sounded like someone was getting killed. Get to the door, you've got this drug addict son, fucking 28-year-old drug addict son, standing over his mother. No sign of the father. He was there somewhere hiding from this little brat. I get to the door and I've gone, what's the problem fucking going on here? They shit themselves. The mother come out, tit half hanging out of a fucking top. Christ knows what. Not a bad looking sort for an old girl. Completely worn out and exhausted from this fucking drug addict, which she's probably allowed. They allow it and then have to deal with the consequences of it. And the kids come to the door and I've gone, what the fucking hell's going on here? And he's gone, oh, sorry, mate, because drug addicts can't deal with straight people. You've got the power over them straight away if you're straight. They know it and they fear it. Drug addicts fear straight people. Do you understand that? Because you're not playing the game. And it's like the animal world. Animals know when another animal's on its game and it's fucking hesitant to do anything that's going to harm it because they know that the fucking one that's on its game is going to have the upper hand. Well, this woman's pulled me aside and she's whispering to me, he's on drugs, he's a little bit out of control, he hasn't had his medication, and we're trying to sort him out. I said, well, if you don't fucking sort him out and he keeps disrupting the peace, I'm going to call the coppers. Right? And this kid goes, call the coppers. I said, you get your fucking ass wherever it needs to be, mate, and get off your mother's back. Get off her back. Had nothing to do with me, but you could just see that this woman had lost control. She'd given too much power to the little druggo. And I told me missus about this, and she's probably thinking, fuck, it's the same as at my place. Because she don't see what goes on behind closed doors. I was down at, no, I'm not even going to fucking go there. But so I leave the joint and it all went quiet. But this is what's happening in our communities, guys. They're fucking bringing drugs in. The parents are, trying to manage it. You can't manage all that. That's why we always say on the Pro Bricky exclusive YouTube channel, stay the fuck away from drugs and alcohol. I don't even care if it's a social fucking drink. There. I don't think it's got any fucking benefit to anybody at all. It's just a legal drug that's fucked up so many families and people. It's not funny. Come on, white boy. Tell me that it's not. It's not. And you're sitting there fucking sucking on your mother's tit, wondering why you're not growing up, why you got nothing. And that's why on Pro Bricky exclusive YouTube channel we say, get your act together, keep your act together. If these women aren't going to be fucking in order, say to them, I'm fed up with your kind. And someone who is right will come along. They might only last 6 months or 12 months because people don't fucking last long these days. But it's better than putting up with someone that's covertly living in two worlds. The world where they're connected to their children and emotionally spending themselves with all that instead of being fucking proper maternal parents. And then the world where they come to you to fucking get banged and then piss off back to their fucking spoilt little adult children, whatever. And this is right across the world. It's not just local. This ain't specific to fucking, to whatever you're witnessing and seeing. And you'll see these women hide behind their children, and you'll see the children hide behind their mummy. I've seen fucking 25-year-old blokes come down and go, Mummy, I've cut myself. Oh, Mummy, I've got a headache. Mummy, make me something to eat. Fucking 25-year-old. Get fucked. Guys, I kid you not. About 15, 20 years ago, I was dating this woman. I was living with her. She got me to move in. She was loving the man there. She had a little 10-year-old son called Gorgeous. She used to call him Gorgeous. The school was 50 metres or 100 metres down the road. She'd drive him to school, she'd pick him up. Okay, 12 months passed and I've gone, look, you've got little 7-year-old girls walking past to go to school, and the young guys, they're just going down the street to school. Why are you driving him to school? Why don't you just slowly but surely let him fucking walk like everybody else? What's the go here, right? So she's given it a go. For some strange reason, I've gone to go to work and had to come back to grab something. And guys, I kid you not, this kid, 10-year-old kid, had his mother by the throat pinned against the wall. Pinned against the wall. 10 years old. It's the crazy, how they didn't hear me coming inside, I'll never know. Screaming at her, fucking drive me to school. I could hear them yelling. I could hear the yelling, but I didn't think it was them. I didn't think it was inside the house. I get inside. 10-year-old kid's got his mother by the throat, pinned against the wall. He'd fucking peel the wallpaper off the walls if he didn't get his own way. Oh, it was disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. She had made him her surrogate partner. He won out I couldn't stand it in the end. I've just gone, oh, fuck this, I'm out of here. You know, and then they cry and carry on and they wonder why you're gone. You don't want to be in it's fuck you, I'm fed up with your kind. You know, they're taking all the goodies and living like fucking dysfunctional little children themselves. So, you know, what do you do when you get to that stage? Well, you've got to try and reason with them. But women will get to a point where they really can't turn around. They don't want to turn around. They're not going to turn around. It doesn't make sense for them to turn around. And honestly, guys, you're not as valuable as you think. You're just not. So don't overvalue these people. If they're not functioning properly, if they're not treating you right, if they're trying to live a double life, you've just got to say, I'm fucking fed up with your kind. I've given you every opportunity and chance. I'm most certainly not out of order. And let them go, man. And they'll go. Fuck, within a day or two or a week or so or maybe a month, they'll be fucking someone else. You're not that important. You've got to realise that. So don't make them so important. If a woman's not cooperating with you and being the woman that she should be, fucking just move on, man. Forget it. Tell them to forget you. Tell them you're fed up. I'm fed up with your kind, and get on with it. This is Pro Bricky on the Pro Bricky exclusive YouTube channel. If you haven't already, subscribe, ring the bell, comment, like, share, and I'll catch you on the next one.